on the law of motions. First problem is, when the forces F1, F2, F3, these are the three forces acting on a particle of mass m such that F2 and F3 are mutually perpendicular, then the particle remains stationary. It means if particle is stationary, net force is zero, or we can say F1 plus F2 plus F3, their sum is zero. We draw the diagram to display the forces. These forces are F2 and F3 are mutually perpendicular. So this is F2 and this force is F3, and F1 is somewhere here. F2 and F3 are mutually perpendicular, and these forces are balanced. That means net force is zero. It means we can say sum of F2 plus F3 is equal to minus of F1. This means the sum of F2 and F3 is in the opposite of F and equal in magnitude. This is minus F1. Now question is, if force F1 is removed, suppose this force F1 is removed, it means remaining force is minus F1. Then the acceleration of the particle is, if we remove F1, F1 is removed. This implies that remaining force is F2 plus F3, and that is equal to, we say it is minus F1. This implies that magnitude of remaining force is equal to magnitude of F1. So acceleration will be equal to F1 oblique net force is F1. We can write magnitude without mod and arrow. This is the magnitude of the F1 and divided by the mass of the particle, that is m. Option A is correct. Next question. Two forces are such that, they are the two forces such that sum of their magnitude is 18 Newton. Let two forces are, suppose these are P and Q, and their sum is 18 Newton. This is the first equation. Their resultant, which has magnitude 12, and their resultant has the magnitude 12, is perpendicular to the smaller force. We know the sum of the two forces is R equal to square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta, where theta is the angle between P and Q. This we have already done in the scalar and vector chapter, where sum of two vector using the parallelogram method, where there we have described this, and angle between them is tan alpha, that is equal to Q sin theta by P plus Q cos theta. This is the resultant vector, and this alpha is the angle made by resultant vector R with vector P. Here question is saying that angle, that resultant is perpendicular to smaller force. It means it is resultant, this is smaller force. It means P is less than Q, and angle in this condition, angle alpha is 90 degree. Using this we can write resultant magnitude is 12, so we can write 12 equal to square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Equation number 2. And using this alpha equal to 90 degree, we can write from this equation tan 90 degree equal to Q sin theta oblique P plus Q cos theta. Tan 90 degree is infinity. So from this we can say this denominator is 0. This is our equation number 3. From here we find the cos theta, that is equal to minus P by Q, and substitute in the equation number 2. So put in equation number 2, we get 12 equal to root P square plus Q square plus 2PQ, and cos theta is minus P by Q. We write it minus P by Q. This Q and Q will be cancel, and 2P into 2P square with minus sign, that means we will have Q square minus P square. This implies that 144 equal to q square minus p square on squaring the both sides, and using the identity, this can be written as q square minus p square is q minus p into q plus p, and q plus p is given 18 Newton. This implies that q minus p equal to 144 by q plus p equal to 144 by 18, and we have to simplify it. We divide by 3. This is 8 Newton. That means we know we have the p plus q equal to 18 Newton and q minus p is 8 Newton. So using these two values or two expressions, we can finally find the value of p and q. This is 18 Newton and q minus p, it is equal to 8 Newton. Adding p and p will cancel. So 2q equal to 26 implies that q equal to 13 Newton. And put this value of q in first equation. It is p equal to 18 minus q equal to 18 minus 13, that is equal to 5 Newton. In this way we can say smaller force is 5 Newton and larger force is 30 Newton, and option B match with this option. So correct option is B. Now we move to the question number 3. Question number 3 says a particle of mass 0.3 kilogram is subjected to a force F equal to minus kx. Force is given minus kx. That means this force is a function of x. Means force has different value at different distances, where k is a constant given 15 Newton per meter. What will be the initial acceleration if it is released from the point 20 centimeter? That means if this is our reference point and this is our x-axis, initially object is at this point, that is 20 centimeter away from our reference point, say O. This is 20 centimeter. At this 20 centimeter, we can find the F, that is equal to F equal to minus kx equal to minus k is 15 and x is 20 centimeter, that means 0.2 meter multiplied by 0.2, so it will give minus 3 Newton. Minus means minus is the showing the direction that it is the directed towards the mean position. That means this force have a tendency to bring the mass towards the reference point. That means this is the vector, meaning magnitude of this vector is 3 Newton. We have to find the acceleration. So acceleration will be F by m initially when it is released. Initially when it was released, the force was acting 3 Newton and mass is 0.3. So we can say it is 10 meter per second square. This is the acceleration at the initially when it is released. So option D is correct. Question number 4. The figure shows position time graph of one-dimensional motion. That means object is moving. This is our reference. This is origin point, origin or reference point, and object is moving along the x direction. This is the one-dimensional motion or rectilinear motion. Of the body of mass of the body is 0.4 kilogram. Magnitude of each impulse is. We have already discussed that impulse is defined as the product of force and the duration for which this force acts. And by definition, it is equal to the delta p, that is the change in momentum. Meaning, impulse is equal to the change in momentum. So using this relation, we have to find the change in momentum that will be equal to the impulse. And change in momentum is P1 minus P2. The object is moving in this way. That means it is a straight line graph and it is a inclined straight line. That means object is moving at a uniform speed. From 0 to 2 seconds, object is moving in the uniform speed and it is going away from the origin. That means P1 is mass into velocity, and mass is 0.4 kilogram, and velocity is, we know from the position time graph, slope of position time graph gives velocity. The slope of this first graph is equal to V1 and it is equal to, slope means tan theta. If this angle is theta, then slope will be tan theta, and tan theta is perpendicular by base. Perpendicular is this 0 to 2 and base is 0 to 2, that is 2. It means it is 2 by 2, that is equal to 1 meter per second. Similarly, V2 is also the slope tan theta. Now this is the also a straight line which is inclined, but slope is negative. So we can write it as minus 2 by 2, that is equal to minus 1 meter per second. Hence, P1 equal to 0.4 into 1, that is equal to 0.4 meter kilogram meter per second. And P2 equal to also mass into velocity, and mass is 0.4, velocity is minus 1 meter per second. That means it is equal to minus 0.4 meter kilogram meter per second. So from the formula of impulse, we can calculate that change in momentum is P1 minus P2. P1 is 0.4 minus and P2 is minus 0.4. So it is equal to 0.8 kilogram meter per second. It can also be written in the form of Newton second, because Newton is kilogram meter per second square. So we can also write it as Newton second. So option B is the correct option. Next is question number 5. A particle is moving in a circular path of radius A under the action of an attractive potential U, that is given minus k by 2r square. Its total energy is, the potential is given minus k by 2r square. So force which results this potential, that is the conservative force, it will be minus du by dr, that is equal to minus d by dr of minus k by 2r square, and minus k by 2r is a minus k by 2 is a constant term, so it will be taken out and minus minus will be plus. That means it is k by 2 into d by dr of 1 by r square. It can be written as k by 2 into d by dr of r raised to power minus 2. Using the formula of differential that of x to power n, it is nx n minus 1 n minus 1. So it will be equal to k by 2 n, that is minus 2 into r, and minus 2 minus 1, that is minus 3. So we can write it as minus k by r cube. Because particle is moving in a circular path, so there will be a centripetal force, and this force will act as a, this which force we have calculated is will act as a centripetal force. Therefore, centripetal force is, in terms of magnitude, is mv square by r, and it will be the equal to the magnitude of minus k by r cube. Minus refers that it is pointing towards the center of the circular path. So we can write mv square equal to k by r square, because one r will be cancelled out and it will be r square. And half mv square equal to, we can write half k by r square, that is kinetic energy is equal to half into k by r square. Now we have the formula for potential energy, equation number 1, and kinetic energy, equation number 2. To find the total energy, we have to add these kinetic and potential energy. We will get minus k by 2r square plus k by 2r square, that will be 0. So we can say that option C is the correct option. Next, question number 6. Two forces P and Q of magnitude 2f and 3f respectively at an angle of q, or we can say it is a theta, with each other. If force q is doubled, their resultant is also doubled. Find the angle theta. So using the equation for the sum of two vectors, magnitude of the resultant vector r equal to root p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. This same formula is given earlier question. If Another part, Q is doubled. That means if Q is doubled, resultant is also doubled. So 2R square. Now resultant is 2R square if Q is doubled. P is same, P square plus 2Q square plus 2P into Q, यानी कि 2Q, 2P into 2Q because Q is doubled and cos theta, angle is same. So we get the two equation, and now using the two equation we have to find the angle theta. To simplify our problem, we square the both sides. So it will be written as r square equal to p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta, and this equation will become 4r square equal to p square plus 4q square plus 4pq cos theta. We have to equate these two equations, so we multiply this equation with 4 and then equate. On multiplying with 4, it will be 4r square equal to 4p square plus 4q square plus 8pq cos theta. And now we equate these two equations because left hand side equal to left hand side, so right hand side should also to the right hand side. That means 4p square plus 4q square plus 8pq cos theta will be equal to, or should be equal to, p square plus 4q square plus 4pq cos theta. 4q square will be cancelled out, and we bring this p square left side, so it will remains 3p square plus, and this is 8 and this is 4, that means 4pq cos theta, it will be 0. This implies that cos theta is equal to this 3p square will be taken on right hand side, minus 3p square by 4pq. This p and p will be cancelled, remaining is minus 3p by 4q. And now p is given 2f and q is given 3f. We put the value minus 3 into 2f by 4 into 3f. F and f will be cancelled. 3 and 3 will be cancelled. 2 is cancelled by this, remaining is 2. That means finally we will get minus 1 by 2. Cos theta is equal to minus 1 by 2. This implies that theta equal to 120 degree.